Let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our QuaverReady Middle School Launch webinar. My name is Marshall. I am a former middle school English language arts teacher, but I am currently a QuaverReady training specialist. During today's session, we will be exploring some of the features designed specifically for students in grades 6 through 8 for QuaverReady. Specifically, we will look at a 7th grade whole group instruction lesson, otherwise known as Tier 1, and we will preview a song and video from our middle school resources. Our content and production teams have been working hard to develop meaningful and engaging content for students, and we are excited to share some of that work with you today. Also, we will announce the winner of the Amazon gift card at the end of today's session. I am joined today by Lindsay, who is the captain of our QuaverReady ship. So, Lindsay, why don't you get us started by introducing yourself?
Yeah, thanks so much, Marshall. Hey, everyone. Gianna, thank you so much for letting us know chat was disabled. Hopefully it's working now. Okay, great. My name is Lindsay Janaman, and I am the director of QuaverReady content. Before I came to work here at Quaver, I was a middle school music teacher. And then after that, I was an elementary school counselor. So elementary and middle school are near and dear to my heart, and especially readiness skills and social emotional learning. So we are really, really excited to be rolling out 6th through 8th grade QuaverReady. Those of you that know and are familiar with our elementary school resources for pre-K through 5 know that they are engaging, that they're interactive, that we want students to be learning, but we also want them to be able to enjoy what it is that they're learning. And so this product was really born out of the need for that for our middle school kiddos. We did a lot of focus groups, and when we were preparing for this and when we were talking to middle schoolers, they were like, we want to get out of our seats. We want to talk to each other. We want to be social. And so we took that same engaging, interactive approach that we have for our elementary school lessons and applied that to middle school in a more aged up way. And we're just really, really excited. So today we're going to be talking we'll get started by talking about some of the benefits of QuaverReady 6th through 8th grade. And then we'll definitely take a look at a lesson and also some other things going on as well. So with our benefits, like I mentioned earlier, our content is engaging. Every single one of our lessons for 6th through 8th grade is going to open up with either an emotion check-in, an icebreaker, a team builder, something to get the students talking, interacting with each other. The second screen will be a brand new original, either story, song, or video. All of those are written by amazing songwriters and script writers, and recorded in-house. We're really excited to roll all of those out. The third screen will be the critical thinking, the learning screen. And the fourth one is where we give students an opportunity to really work with one another, engage with one another. We use a lot of the Kagan social learning structures, so giving students an opportunity to experience and practice and dig in things in an engaging way. And then we're always going to end with some kind of reflection so students can kind of absorb what they've been looking at and learning together. Our resources are easy to use. As a school counselor, I know that I never got a planning period in the history of ever. That just wasn't a thing that I had available as a school counselor. And so we want to make sure that our lessons are easy to use, easy to access, that they don't require a lot of prep time. And even if you don't get an opportunity to print out that lesson plan or the teacher notes ahead of time, you can still do these with students in a way that's easy to use. There's also a couple different ways to organize our lessons, so you can look at those through Castle core competency or by unit number. So just really flexible in the way that they can be utilized.
We also have shareable resources. So all of the resources within QuaverReady can be shared through a QR code or a link. And what's great about this is that the recipient does not need to have a Quaver account in order to access those resources. So it is a great way to keep parents and the community involved with what is going on in your classrooms with Quaver. We also have options to customize built in with QuaverReady through our resource manager. So you can pull from existing resources that we have in Quaver. You can create your own resources using various templates, or you can even merge resources. If it's a link or maybe a slideshow, you can even embed those into Quaver as well. So now that we've discussed some of QuaverReady's benefits, let's jump into our lesson for today. So we're going to click on the lessons icon on our dashboard. We will then be looking today at lesson number 7 under 7th grade, Understanding My Emotions. We're going to go ahead and click the green launch button, and we will be greeted by a welcome screen. So our welcome screens have 3 primary features for middle school. The first is we have a music player down in the left-hand corner, which is great just for setting the tone as students are entering the room to have some music playing. We also have a lesson overview in the center, which will go over the purpose of the lesson, the objectives, and any keywords. And clicking the green start button will start that warm-up activity that Lindsay mentioned. In this case, it is a emotion mapping check-in. So it is asking students that as they are coming into the room to place a dot of how they are feeling at that moment for that day. So they can select this dot and click anywhere on this map where they are feeling. You could also use the draw feature and have them draw if you'd rather do that. We have some follow-up discussion questions to help get started as well, such as where would you like to see your dot placed at the end of the day, and what can your teacher or classmates do to help change how you feel or maintain where you currently are. Great for those emotion check-ins and for creating that community amongst your students, right? They might not know that one of their peers is not doing so great that day, so a great way of them communicating that they need maybe some support from the teacher or their classmates. Mentioning earlier, I mentioned that all the resources within QuaverReady can be shared. So you'll notice that on our lesson screens, the lesson is presented on the screen in the center, but we have these 2 menus. Opening the settings menu, we can see that we have a QR code option. By either downloading or having students scan this QR code, anyone can access the materials. You can also share out these links, right? So again, great for those newsletters or sharing out with other educators or the community. Our resources also have notes and worksheets that go along with them. The notes are lesson planning suggestions to help guide the educators, right? Really honing in on that easy to use, right? Making it as intuitive as possible so that educators can jump right in without having to spend a lot of time planning. Right, this favorite button as we go through QuaverReady and as you get started, anytime you see a resource that you enjoy, click this favorite button and it actually gets saved in your resource folder. So I'll show you where those are saved towards the end, right? And some of our screens also have corresponding worksheets that we will show as well. So going into our second screen, I'll let Lindsay talk about the song.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, the second screen is always going to be either a song, an animated story, or a live action video. And there's about a third of each throughout the platform. For our songs, we really tried to consider all the different genres and artists that are popular right now. We are based out of Nashville, Tennessee, so we have access to so many amazing songwriters and musicians, and y'all have listened to a lot of cheesy kids music, but this is not that. I think we really have some great songs coming out, especially for middle school. So we'll listen to just a moment of pause.
Sometimes my brain gets overwhelmed, can't concentrate, don't feel myself. Or when I'm scared, it's hard to breathe. I bite my nails, got shaky knees. And then sometimes I'm in the clouds, I'm wide, I'm hyped, and I can't calm down. And when these feelings fill my head, I don't know what I should do next. I got adrenaline taking over my system. I gotta dial it in before making decisions. All this adrenaline is clouding up my vision. So let me make a switch before a bad decision. I press pause.
Right, pause right on that beat drop.
Paused right on pause. And that gives them a great opportunity to practice some deep breathing right there. I also want to point out where we have in worksheets, we always give you a copy of the lyrics of the songs that are in the lessons. So if you ever want to pull those up with your students and kind of go through the different lyrics, look for keywords, discuss things maybe that jumped out to them when they were listening to the song, there's always the opportunity to do that as well. So that's just
Yes.
one example of a song, and then we have so many other fun resources that are going in that Screen 2 slot.
So after presenting students and enjoying the song as a class, we then go into that explicit direct teaching. And what I really like about the way that our content team approached this is that they really went into the psychology of the brain and into the neuroscience of it. And in this lesson, it explains emotions as a natural psychological response, right? Which I think elevates the student understanding and leads them towards that acknowledgement, which then can then move to coping with various emotions. So on this screen, we get the option to push play to listen to a reader give us some more information about the topics on the screen. So let's preview that.
The human brain is an absolute marvel. It's like a small supercomputer that runs nonstop. Did you know the human brain uses electrical charges to communicate between neurons? Neurons.
So then after listening to the full soundbite, we can then go through with our students various emotions and listen to more information around them, look at the chemicals that are released, and really get into that scientific aspect of it. So going through each of these emotions with students then leads us to a big discussion question. How do your emotions impact your ability to make sound choices, right? Kind of circling back to the main theme of the song, right? That it's important to pause and take a moment to acknowledge our emotions before we respond. This activity also has a corresponding worksheet. So I'm just going to click this worksheets button and you'll see that decide emotions aside, that title aligns with the title of the slide. So that's how I know that this is the screen in which the worksheet goes with. I'm going to click this open button to take a look at the activity. This activity encourages students to research how the brain reacts to emotions different than those discussed in the lessons. So the English teacher in me loves research. This is a great activity to get students to have some ownership in how they are looking for this information and how they are interacting with it. Of course, if you've never heard of your state's electronic library, I know that sometimes if we give students free reign of Google to research, it can sometimes be a little bit hectic. So I definitely recommend your state's electronic library for all your research needs. Going to our next screen.
Yeah, so this one puts it into practice. So we talked about those social interactivities, right? So this is a game when we are talking about having heightened emotions. Sometimes we act impulsively. And so this game is a great demonstration of that. So basically the way it works is that you would divide the class into two teams. And each team has an opportunity to give the quickest answer possible, but the questions are tricky. And so I actually got to play this with a bunch of colleagues last week. We practiced it in a room full of 40 adults, and they still really struggled with it because you automatically want to answer, David's father has 3 sons named rock, paper, and everybody yelled out scissors. However, the correct answer is David. And so we go through all these different questions. We can show one more, Marshall. You're in a 4-person race. You just passed the second and third place runners. What position are you in? So we had people yelling out first place. The answer is second place because you passed the second. And so the point is that students their emotions are heightened, they're excited. And so they learn that when they take the pause, just like our song said and our screen 3 said, and take a second to think about it before they react, they were actually getting more correct answers. And so after the activity is over, we have these questions like, what feelings were evoked during this challenge? How did feelings play a part in how quickly answers were chosen? How did pausing impact the ability to get the answer correctly? So there's about 10 different questions. So the hope is that as you play with your students, they will realize that when they actually pause and take a second, that they're going to get more of the answers correct because they're not just running straight off of excitement. And then connecting it to real life. Can you think of another time when using a pause might help you make the right choice? So when I'm angry, when I'm frustrated, when I'm super excited. So making those real world connections. But that's just an example of the engaging in the interactivity that happens in screen 4.
All right, and then this lesson ends with a letter to their future self, asking students to write a letter as a reminder to pause before making decisions. And there are a couple different ways you could do this. You could have students type it out. We have a worksheet that has the letter formatting already on there. Or you could do something like have the students write the letter, maybe even put it in an envelope, keep it for later on in the school year, and give it back to them. And then you can have that reflection moment where you're looking back at your past self and thinking about all your experiences you've had since you wrote that letter and really honing in on that skill of pausing and acknowledging emotions. So, not only do we have lessons, we also have songs included with our 6-8 content. So by clicking on the songs icon, we can see that they're organized by grade level. The song we're going to look at today is an 8th grade song, and it is called The Voice Inside. I will let Lindsay talk more about this song before we get a preview of it.
Yeah, so the voice inside is really about kind of that small voice that we as adults know as our conscience. But that voice when we're making a decision, that's kind of talking to us and saying, is this a good choice? Is this the right thing to do? And this is just another great example of our songs and how they're styled after popular music that's out right now. So yeah, we'll just listen to a few seconds of the voice inside to get a feel for that.
What if I could go back in time and make a different choice? Is there a time I should have stayed quiet or been brave and used my voice? Well, I can't change the past, but I can choose a different path. Next time I'll choose more carefully. My values will be my guide. With honesty, integrity, I'll listen to the voice inside.
Definitely a catchy tune. Definitely a great one.
Yes, love that one. And as Marshall clicked back to what's called our Song Hub, you can see that there's lots of activities that go with that. 2 of the activities are from the lesson that the song came from, and 2 of the activities are from a different lesson. So Song Hubs can be really helpful if you want to use them for like a small group for Tier 2. Your group could listen to the song every week and then do one of the activities along with it. Songs are also great to grab tab. If you end up with a class maybe that hasn't been picked up from related arts or something, and you need a few minutes to fill, you can always play a song and they're discussing questions that go with those as well. There's also printables. So this is one of the printables that goes along with that song. So this one's called Face the Consequences, and there's a screen that goes along with it as well. So this is just 4 different scenarios where you can talk about the pros and cons, what your decision is, and how you'll accept the consequences. And so just thinking about all of that with our decision making, the pros and cons, the consequences, what our voice inside tells us what to do, what our integrity and our values tell us to do. So kind of just tying all that together. So songs can be used really flexibly when it's not necessarily time to do a lesson. A song is definitely a great opportunity to have just a few activities or a whole bunch of activities, depending on however much time you have.
We also have videos and live action skits included as well. So we're going to go into the resource manager, and let's say we want to talk to our students about time management. By going into the resource center, I can actually search through the Quaver resources. I'm just going to search time management, and we're going to look at this video called Time Management Mondays with Marley. It's modeled after a weekly vlog series with Marley. So by clicking launch, it'll open up this screen for us. And let's just listen to a little bit about what Marley says about time management.
Happy Monday, friends. Marley here with another Mondays with Marley episode. Today we're talking all things time management. Let's kick this vlog off with my first tip. Tip number 1, write it down. Write down everything you need to do in a notebook. And choose your notebook wisely. Make sure it's something that you want to write in. Why? Because writing down all of your tasks will help make sure you get them done in a timely manner. Ooh, and you can section off your list into sections of urgent and not urgent. That will help you prioritize.
All right. So now, as you can see in our resource manager, you can also see that your favorites are stored here. So as you're getting started in exploring QuaverReady, if you're coming across resources that you have favorited, they will all be stored in the resource manager under that My Favorites tab. So our time today is coming to an end, but I do want to make sure that we mention our website, QuaverEd.com, and our help center, as well as QuaverPLC. Lindsay, do you have anything to add as we close out and before we announce the gift card winner?
Yeah, I would just say the Help Center is really helpful if you get to digging into QuaverReady and you're looking around and you're like, oh, I don't know where they said this was located or how I do this. There's so many good videos and articles there to help. And then QuaverPLC is so helpful, especially if you're tasked with like leading PD about readiness skills or social emotional learning skills. There's a lot of really helpful info there. And you can also get professional development credit on our website through QuaverPLC as well. And then the last thing I was going to say is QuaverReady 6th through 8th grades right now. There are 63 lessons available out of the total 108. And these will be completed and out and ready for the world, the entire, all the lessons mid-April of this year. So our team's working really, really hard to get that out and to get that done. And we're really excited about it. And so thankful all of you were able to join us today.
Yes, and before we close out, the chat has spoken. It is in the chat. The winner of the raffle is Warren Frank. So Warren, look out for an email from QuaverEd tomorrow, and it will be sent to the email that you use to register for this webinar. Thank y'all again so much for joining us today. We are so excited for what the future holds with Quaver Middle School, and we hope to hear from you again soon. Thank you for joining.
Thanks. Have a wonderful day.